All right, we have a lot of news to break down because Jessica Tarlov just straight up exposed Donald Trump on Fox News for appointing Tom Homan as his border czar. And while it's satisfying, yes, the plan that Donald Trump and his minions are cooking up is also incredibly scary, and I want to touch upon that throughout this video because we're only about 70 days away and we have to talk about this mass deportation plan and what it entails. So drop a like, subscribe. We'll watch this clip of Jessica Tarlov absolutely cooking the other 4 of the 5 in just 1 second, but I want to lay the groundwork by showing you this clip of Tom Homan, Trump's incoming border czar, saying that governors from blue states won't be able to protect immigrants. They need to get out of the way. And this clip lays the groundwork for the rest of the video.
I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send in New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats. Right. It's much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in jail. They're safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community. But if you're going to release these bad guys, out in the community.
Okay, so this guy sounds completely unhinged. He said we might have to send double the amount of officers to New York City, but let's back up even further. I posted on Twitter not long ago, is anyone talking about how Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, wants to mobilize red state National Guards into an army to mass deport immigrants even in blue states? And I quote this Atlantic article that reads, how Trump and his advisors intend to staff such a program would make a prospective Trump deportation campaign even more volatile. Stephen Miller, Trump's top immigration advisor, and today we learned that Stephen Miller is now his Deputy Chief of Staff, has publicly declared that they would pursue such an enormous effort partly by creating a private red state army under the president's command. Miller says a re-elected Trump intends to requisition National Guard troops from sympathetic Republican-controlled states and then deploy them into Democratic-run states whose governors refuse to cooperate with their deportation drive. I don't want to say the words that Tim Pool always latches onto, but this would genuinely lead to a Civil War-esque scenario where red state National Guards assemble into an army and invade blue states to deport people, even people who are naturalized, as the Trump administration said. Such deployment of red state forces into blue states over the objections of their mayors and governors would likely spark intense public protest and possibly even conflict with law enforcement agencies under a local control. And that conflict itself could become the justification for further insertion of federal forces into blue jurisdictions, notes Joseph Nunn. And this brings us on to today, of course, where Trump expected to announce Stephen Miller as his Deputy Chief of Staff for policy. Trump also announced Tom Homan as his border czar. We'll get to that. But we're also getting insane news like RFK Jr. now wants 600 people from the NIH to be fired on day 1 of Trump's second term. I mean, on day 1. Everything could radically change if they actually follow through on their promises. And this brings us on to Jessica Tarlov absolutely shredding the 5 today. And they're talking about Tom Homan. They're talking about this guy.
Some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City.
Sounds like a really bright mind here. He helped author Project 2025, and Jessica Tarlov calls him out for it.
I do want to say something, though, about Tom Homan. Mm-hmm. So for everyone who said Trump doesn't know what Project 2025 is, he just put a key contributor in charge of this. And Tom Homan was interviewed on 60 Minutes, and he was asked, is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families? And he said, of course there is. Families can be deported together. He also said that it didn't mean if someone was coming to be, quote unquote, rounded up and grandma was in the house and she's undocumented, that it didn't necessarily mean that grandma wouldn't be taken to. And you can say Donald Trump has a mandate till you're blue in the face. Taking grandma is not what people were voting for. They were voting for criminals to be kicked out of this country.
All right, I have more clips to play, but shout out to Jessica Tarlov. She always does an amazing job slicing through the Fox News BS, slicing through the talking points. But we can even take it a step further. Many of the people that helped author Project 2025 are now working within Trump's second administration. We even talked about Stephen Miller, who has this apocalyptic plan to mobilize red state National Guards into an army to mass deport immigrants even in blue states. Imagine a National Guard, a red state army, going straight into New York City, trying to deport people who are even naturalized. They have talked about deporting naturalized people in the United States, which is absolutely absurd. Now, I want to play for you this clip of Jeanine Pirro on Fox News ramping up the gaslighting to 11. This happened a few days before the election, and she's saying, I hope that the left doesn't absolutely melt down after Trump wins. And of course, she was just talking trash. She didn't know if Trump would win or not, but I mean, she's completely ignoring January 6th. She is gaslighting us. We immediately conceded. We are not pushing election fraud lies. Well, I hope you guys aren't. We conceded. We said we lost. We need to pivot and change a little bit. And they're the ones who are angry losers. I've never met such angry losers in my life. I have friends challenging me to boxing competitions over the election results. People trying to shove it in my face saying liberalism is over. They are angry losers. When Kamala conceded the next day, we said it's totally over. Ben Shapiro continues to gaslight and say Kamala took too long to concede when Trump still never conceded the 2020 election. It's insane, but check out this clip.
I'm excited. I think the rally last night that created a lot of hope for me in terms of in New York City, if you can get that many people together, everybody on the same page, nobody seemed upset the whole night. I mean, in tens of thousands. But what I'm concerned about in terms of stress is the left's reaction if Donald Trump gets elected, because they talk about how Donald Trump is a chaos candidate. The only chaos is the chaos that they create, whether it's get in their face and don't let him into a restaurant or, he's this, he's that. That's what I worry about. I would like if Donald Trump wins, and I'm hoping he wins, I would like that people just be calm and accept it.
January 6th would like a word. One more thing is up next.
It's so they gaslight the hell out of us. They literally raided the Capitol. There was a top-down conspiracy that the election was stolen in key swing states, spread by Donald Trump and his minions. Rudy Giuliani ruined people's lives, like Ruby Freeman. And now they're saying that the left is breaking down. I mean, watch this clip of Jesse Waters saying he wasn't invited to his mother's house for Thanksgiving.
Yep, people are taking some space in the Waters household. I'll have you know that I was not invited to my mother's house for Thanksgiving. Apparently, there wasn't enough room. She said it was a scheduling situation, and then at the last second invited me to come over on Black Friday. I told her no thanks, I'll be at Best Buy.
Great joke, Jesse Waters. Here's Jessica Tarlov punching back at the idea that Democrats use apocalyptic rhetoric. Take a listen.
But I really need everyone to spare me the faux outrage and the pearl clutching about this. A little collection of things that Donald Trump and high-ranking Republicans call liberals on a daily basis: anarchists, anti-American, deranged, communists, corrupt, compromised, groomers and perverts, thugs and traitors. Now, she was explicit that she was talking about a subsection of the Republican Party the same way that Joe Biden is when he talks about this MAGA extremism. But you tell me, if the leader of the Democratic Party, so that would be Joe Biden, was facing 4 indictments with 91 felony counts. He had been found liable of sexually assaulting a woman and defaming her. That's E. Jean Carroll. Guilty of fraud, sharing the nation's secrets, not only in the Mar-a-Lago indictment, but there was a report yesterday from ABC News that he had shared information about our nuclear submarine capacities with an Australian billionaire who's a member at Mar-a-Lago, who had then gone on and shared that with dozens of other people. Ended up making a purchase, I think, of 3 subs. It included specifics up to how many nuclear warheads they carry and how close they can get to Russian subs without being detected. And then I told you, so all of that is happening, and he's shooting up in the polls. And when you see those interviews of Trump supporters outside of the rallies, they're like, none of this is true. It's the big lie. He won the election, et cetera. And you wouldn't say to me, you guys are in a cult? It's actually tame. what Hillary Clinton was saying.
So Jessica Tarlov is doing an amazing job. As this person says, I am not over-exaggerating when I say Jessica Tarlov is the best surrogate Democrats have on TV right now. It's not even close. I put Pete Buttigieg up there, and Gavin Newsom has really stepped up as a leader, but Jessica Tarlov has a consistent spot, and she knocked it out of the park right there. I mean, she's responding to Hillary Clinton saying that Trump supporters need to be deprogrammed or that they are a cult, when that is objectively true, number one, but number two, you can put that up against the thousands of insane things that Trump has called Democrats, including perverts, groomers, thugs, communists, Marxists, and there's no comparison. Trump started this new wave of apocalyptic rhetoric in American politics, and I'll leave you guys with that. Drop a like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.